hurt.
No, I think she is.
Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Boy, gosh, I hope she's okay.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, kiddos. It is another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Jim Moore is in black and white for some reason. I think just because that's what he grew up with, was black and white television. It is a Friday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Of course, we are inside the Limbach Lumber Studios. Contractors are going to help you out with everything at Limbach Lumber. Just give them a call at 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbachlumber.com. They're your lumber experts since 1930. All right, we got Egan from Italy. We got an NBA announcement. Tim Booth, Seattle Times, going to join us at 10:15. We've got our handicapper Troy Wins is here to talk about future bets on the NFL, baseball, March Madness, and we will wrap up the Seahawks with the last word there with Bob Condotta. As I mentioned, Egan is in a hotel room. He doesn't have much time for us. He's got to go watch some, I think, women's hockey. But before we get to the official PME show, Jim Moore is brought to you by an army of subscribers and advertisers.
Yeah, my thanks to Brotherton Cadillac and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. This weekend, holiday weekend, cash in on the President's Day savings event through Monday at Brotherton. With Brotherton, car buyers have come to expect a no-pressure, family-owned experience with a heavy emphasis on customer service. Check them out in their Shoreline or Renton locations or brothertonauto.com. Also, my thanks to a Clean Streak, Brian Turner. He'll do all the roof cleaning for you, the gutter cleaning. He'll come down to Puyallup for Chris Egan and pressure wash his driveway. I'm telling you, Brian Turner will do it all at a Clean Streak. So give him a call at 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com.
Chris Egan, you are in a hotel room in Milan. You're getting ready to go watch what and cover what for the U.S. Olympics?
You guys got me okay? You got me okay?
We got you loud and clear, sir.
I love it. We're in Italy. We're in Milan, Italy. We got U.S. women taking on the host country of Italy tonight, quarterfinals of hockey. So that's taking place tonight. We've got a lot going on. It has been a busy, busy day. We were out live at the Canal District just a few hours ago on the morning show. And Jim and Jason, you're going to love this. I just posted it on X, posted it on Instagram. I went in to get myself a meatball. They serve meatballs like, you know how we have bread bowls in Seattle that we put clam chowder in? Mm-hmm. They put meatballs in their bread bowl. And I go in there, and his name is Stefano in the Canal District. Stefano from the Canal District in Milan. And he goes, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Seattle." And I can't make this stuff up, guys. He goes, "The home of Jack Sigma."
Oh,
I go,
come on.
No way.
I went, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "Supersonics." And I go, so I had to roll the camera. I said, "Stefano, tell me about the Sonics." He goes, "My favorite team is the Lakers, but Jack Sigma, Detlef Schrempf, Gary Payton.
Come on.
I love them. I love them." He says, "Bring back the Sonics." So here's the thing, and you got Tim Booth coming up, and I'm just going to say this right now. We love our Seattle Seahawks. We love our Seattle Mariners. But when you cross the seas and you come into Europe and you come into other parts of the world, you realize how big the NBA really is, along with soccer as well. But they love their NBA in Italy. I'll tell you that.
Hey, when you were watching the game with Wittenberg at that bar,
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get a Seahawks?
So Jake did it once and nobody said anything.
He did the C part and he didn't get a Hawks. Huh?
We didn't get a Hawks. So I kind of helped out. We did find there was like a table that was wearing Seahawks gear, and I don't think any of them knew the team. But we found a couple Hawks fans in town, so it was fun. I'll say this, when you watch a team closely, it's really hard to watch a game at a bar. You know, it was tough for me. It was just like, because everybody wants to talk and you want to just watch the game, and it's 3 a.m. and I'm having chicken wings and just almost passed out. But yeah, it What a week. What a week. Congratulations to the Seahawks. I think we called it here on this podcast that we're going to win it. So, but we've called everything on this show. But yeah, what a week. What a week.
It's the prediction show of record is what it is.
Yeah.
What did you how many beers did you throw down at 3 a.m.?
You know what? You got well, here's the thing. It's called the Offsides. It's an Italian guy that decided to open up an American bar. So he caters to American sports. So he's open every Sunday late into the morning for NFL football fans, but you had to get reservations. Like there's only 60 seats. So you had to call like a week in advance just to get, and they were turning people away left and right. So when you're at the bar, you've got to order. So to answer your question, I had a couple, Puck. Yeah, you'd be proud of me.
Wittenberg fall down off his chair or what?
Oh, he was jumped. He was just fired up. Yeah, he was excited. He was excited. So good day. And the parade absolutely looked phenomenal. I've been seeing the pictures and all the videos on social media. Looked off the charts. I tried to have a parade at the Duomo, the Milan Cathedral. Only had about 2 people that followed me, but I did my best.
You had 1 million pigeons, though.
Yeah, pigeons are freaking everywhere, Jim. They're just if you don't duck, you're gonna get just taken out by them. Plus, I don't even know if I'll make it back, Jim. I may be 600 pounds by the time I leave this country.
You've been walking everywhere. You're fine.
Yeah, that's true. But my God, there is just pizza left, pizza right, pizza left. I mean, everywhere you go, it's just
Have you had that breakfast pastry yet? And I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a donut, but it's cream filled. I can't remember what they call it. But it got a bunch
of
cream in the middle of it.
Oh, I've had plenty of them, Puck. I really have.
Good.
I don't know how they do it. Honestly, they eat, but yeah, they all look good over here. I think they just smoke and walk and eat. I mean,
they smoke and walk, man. That's what I'm telling you. It's the 2 benefits of life, and I think we should all adhere to it in 2026. Walk more and smoke more.
I'll say this, guys. They put something different, or they don't put much into their pizza and their pasta, because 6 days in a row, I'm feeling pretty good eating the homemade stuff. And I went off the rails one late night. Nothing was open. So, Jim, I got myself a McRoyal.
What is that?
That's the first time I had to use the bidet. It's the McDonald's has the McRoyale. So I had the McRoyale, and their chicken nuggets come with some type of spinach in the middle of it too. So very interesting.
McRoyale
and you mentioned you tweeted about lava cakes. What are those all about?
Well, apparently the U.S. athletes they get so much food up at the athletes' village, and they are all just raving about these lava cakes. It's basically a chocolate cake, and then you just put hot fudge in the middle of it. It's just you're just eating 100% pure chocolate. And the athletes, they're burning 30,000 calories a day. Plus there's a report out. I don't know if it's official yet, Puck, but I heard they're out of condoms at the Olympic Village. I don't know if that's official
yet. Aren't they always out of condoms at the Olympics? Isn't that the story every year?
More?
Every year they're out of condoms. I mean, it's the same story every year. You know what I say, and my dad told me this, and I carry it on to my kids. Condoms are for sailors.
Okay.
Let's just leave him hanging there. We were supposed to follow up there. Egan, I think we were supposed to follow up.
To follow up with
at least like
it's fine.
A courtesy laugh.
No.
Yeah, I'm 9 hours ahead of him, Puck, and I still haven't got the joke, Jim.
No, don't worry about it. No one will ever. It's right over your heads. You get right over your heads. Hey, Egan. Okay, we got Boots is coming up in like 5 minutes to talk NBA.
I'm doing fine.
Who's the hot Italian chick behind you there?
That's just my hotel room.
It's a painting, for God's sakes. Have you been hit? Hey, I want to know. Have you been hit on at all?
Yes.
You have been.
Yeah, it's the Italian. Some lady today just wouldn't leave us alone on our live shot, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, well, hey, Egan, slip the ring off for just a day and see what happens.
No, it's back. Come on the eve of Valentine's Day. Come on, Puck. Come on.
Oh, that's right. Valentine's Day. Why don't you fly your beautiful bride out there this weekend?
Well, guess what the wife did? She actually packed 26 photos because I'm gone 26 days, and every day I find another photo. It's pictures of the kids, the wife.
Oh, I was going to say, what kind of photo? I mean, I
You got one of Charlie too?
Rated.
Did Charlie
Jim,
make the cut?
I think Charlie was day 6, Jim. Let me.
Oh, was he?
Look at that right there, Jim. You see Charlie?
Get in there.
Charlie, yeah. Charlie was day 6, so no, we're having a blast. I mean, the Olympics. It's obviously when you're in the middle of a Super Bowl, we're the back seat to that, which rightfully so. I mean, the Seahawks are number 1, but Olympics still go on. The world's watching. Ratings are just been great so far. They're happy with everything. Local athletes. We got a gal, Jackie Wiles, grew up skiing at White Pass. She earned her first Olympic medal, got a bronze. We got the speed skaters both in action tomorrow, Corinne Stoddard and Cooper McLeod. So we'll be keeping a close eye on them. And our curlers, Jim, not off to a great start. Our local curlers, 1 and 2 right now.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
Okay. I've watched it. I was watching it this week. We've got a curling club that, Chris, Jim, you may not
curling
know.
Club.
It's like the best, like one of the best ones on the West Coast, literally up on Aurora.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been there.
You have been. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get what they're trying to do. I really don't. And I try to listen, what's the strategy? What are we doing? Like they did something yesterday where they knocked out someone's, and what do we even call the thing? What's
It's like
the
shuffleboard?
rock.
Isn't it like shuffleboard a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
you
rock.
gotta
So
get-
okay. So they knocked the rock out. I'm like, all right, that's good. And then the guy was like, oh, that's not good. I'm like, well, that looks good. You knocked off their rock and yours is right in the middle. Here's what I need you to do. These broadcasters, they need to speak to dummies like me. They're talking over everyone's head during the Olympics.
Well,
they need
all
to spell it out a little bit.
Yeah. I will go up the NBC, the compound where we run into all these people all the time, and I will explain that because they are all most of them are like engineer majors, so they're all smarter than us. So I will explain that like Jason Puckett, Seattle says we got to dumb it down a little bit. We got to explain it.
Dumb it down. Dumb it down. I mean, Jim, do you know what they're trying to do?
No, what I was going to ask you, Chris, is that those little brooms, the guys that are frantically sweeping. What happens? Is there somebody that's watching real closely? They get so close to the stone there, and if you hit the stone, I assume you're disqualified.
Oh yeah, you're DQ'd. You're DQ'd there. But yeah, basically, you're trying to get your rock closest to the middle to try to keep it simple. Yeah. And are you going to have the hammer? The hammer's the last rock, so you'll have the last shot if you got the hammer.
Okay. So what happens when they're shuffling down, right? And first of all, I was watching the women last night, or the U.S. women against, I can't remember, I think it was where they're Sweden maybe. And I love how they just get so far down on the ice and they're sliding. I just like, they're I mean, so agile. And then when they throw it off, what happens if your foot hits one of those rocks?
I think that's another DQ. You can't hit them. Yeah. You got to stay low.
And when they're not playing in the Olympics, Chris, they are normally drinking during this, correct?
Yes. So in Pyeongchang, no joke, Team Schuster won it. Most of the guys are from Minneapolis, and Dave Schwartz, a former sports anchor in Minneapolis, and I went out that night to enjoy some beers, karaoke, and chicken with Team Schuster, and they had their gold medals around their neck. So it's quite a night. We'll see if Team Casper, they need to rally. They need to rally. 1 and 2, like I said. So they got to get rolling here. So, and I'm amazed, guys. I've just never been a huge figure skating fan.
Love
Holy cow. The Bates and Chalk, I mean, they were in the NBC compound, and you would have thought the Beatles were coming by. Just absolutely incredible. Yeah.
How's that quad god doing?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the things he does, Jim, backflips in the air, landing on a tiny blade. I'm sorry. You got to give the guy credit. And then Lindsey Vonn, Breezy Johnson, Jackie Wiles, to watch what they're doing coming down those. They are going 75 miles an hour down pure ice. No, thank you. I can barely get on the Metro bus here and get down the next stop, let alone do what they're doing. But it's been fun.
We got Booth is waiting by. We're going to talk
bring him
NBA
up.
because there could be some news. I do want to have. You probably haven't seen it. Did you see the parade, Egan? Did you see when the players talked? Did you see the people?
I did.
Did you like that Ernest Jones swore? Now Jim did not
fine
like
with it. I was
And
fine with it. Did we get any FCC violations for King Fun TV? I haven't seen that email yet.
Okay. I don't know if you did, but Jim wrote a whole big story on it, and then people attacked Jim because he's not being a Seahawks homer. Because if any time a Seahawks does anything, and even if you don't like it, you can't acknowledge that you don't like it because now you're not a 12. So people are accusing Jim of not being a true 12 because he didn't like that Ernest Jones said the F word.
Well, they were all drinking beer right before they went up on stage. I mean, it was going to get a little
tequila. It was.
No, it's okay. I just thought it was inappropriate and unnecessary. I think he still could have gotten his message across with saying, I got 2 words for you, world champions, as someone on Facebook suggested. So
everybody's different. I mean, I'll say this, like, I was in the mix zone and one of the athletes had a rough day, and it's like, you know what? You've trained your whole life. There's so many emotions around this, and you get up right off the ice, and you're just like going to say some things you don't want to say, and you just won the Super Bowl. You're jacked up. You're fired up, and you got a million people surrounding you yelling Seahawks. I think I'd be fired up too. I don't know. I'd be thrown.
Thanks for the support, Chris. I really
I'm here.
We're good too. So basically, Egan just told
you are.
Egan
swore.
Egan just told
I heard
Jim
you on Puck's podcast.
You can't swear. All right. We got a few minutes with our next guest because I think it sounds like there could be some potential news coming on the NBA. I will say this, that again, I was talking to Mitch yesterday, KJ Arnson. He's hearing that it could be June 1st. There could be an announcement on it. There's other people saying the springtime, March. There could be something. Maybe something happens this weekend down in Inglewood in Los Angeles, but it just seems like there's been a lot of smoke here recently that some type of announcement on expansion could be forthcoming involving Seattle and Las Vegas. Now, there's only one person in this town that knows all things NBA expansion talk, and it's, ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only Tim Booth from the Seattle Times. I mean, we're in Bothell. We're going from Milan to Bend to Bothell to Ballard is what we're doing. Tim Booth with us, Seattle Times. Right now, he's written about this today. He's covered this in the past. He will cover this in the future. So let me start first here, Tim. What's the latest with it? Does it feel like we are closer than we have been ever before, just there on the front of expansion in the NBA to Seattle and Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel that way. As you pointed out, the amount of smoke that's kind of been generated in the last week to 2 weeks, especially, feels like there's some genuine momentum. Obviously, Adam Silver back in December said that they're going to make a decision at some point in 2026. As much as there's this positive momentum and a lot of little tidbits out there right now, I still think we're probably 4 to 5 months off from something substantial happening. Like this weekend, Adam's going to have his availability on Saturday. There's no Board of Governors meeting this weekend. There's nothing it's all, related to the players and the All-Star game. So he'll certainly be asked about it and everything that's going on. I don't think there's going to be anything that substantial that comes from what he says this weekend, but he could potentially set the table for what comes up next month because they have a Board of Governors meeting. It's tentatively scheduled for the end of March right now. It could be pushed into early April, but sometime in that time frame. And that's when you could see something substantial happen. And so whatever he says this weekend could be kind of, setting the stage for what comes next, which in theory is some details about if they are going to expand, what this is actually going to look like in terms of, do you have to do a season ticket drive? What are the cities that they're looking at? And ultimately, how much this damn thing's going to cost?
Well, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? What are the numbers? What are you hearing, Booth? Or is like $9 million or $9 billion for the franchise? And if it were to happen, Puck asked me to only ask one question, so I'm going to ask two. If it were to happen, Would they start in the 2027-28 season? Is that the most likely look ahead?
Okay, so I'll work in reverse there. If they make an announcement sometime this year, everything that I've been told from people who've worked in the NBA previously is to get this thing up and running in the way that you want to, you need at minimum 18 months, and you probably need 2 years because you have to get your training facility in place, you have to put your front office in place, you have to get all your infrastructure put together, you have to learn what the requirements are or the restrictions are of what an expansion draft is going to look like. You have to put together your scouting department, like all those. It's similar to what the Kraken went through. Like all those pieces have to come together before you actually take the court for your first game. So if they said this summer, if in mid-July, when they have their board of governors meeting at Summer League, if they said then that, hey, we're doing this, we're going to Las Vegas and we're going to Seattle, the earliest timeline you probably would see that team start would be the 2028-2029 season. To your question about the expansion fee,
do they know I might be dead before then?
You might be dead tomorrow, Jim. To your part about the expansion, if your virgin ears are so hurt by someone dropping an F-bomb, you might be dead tomorrow. But if there's, to your question about the expansion,
was that necessary?
No, it wasn't. The Lakers and their valuation at $10 billion kind of threw things for a loop a little bit in terms of these franchise prices that you're looking at. The realistic is probably somewhere around what the Celtics sold for, which was at $6 billion. So you're probably in the $6 to $7 billion range for what the expansion fee is going to end up being. It might be a little bit less, it might be a little bit more. And I know some of the people around here who've been following it really closely, that's kind of one of their big questions right now is, if we're going to get involved in this process, how much is this actually going to cost?
Okay, Tim, I got to throw you a curveball from Milan. And I think everybody hopes the expansion's coming. I think everybody throws out Seattle and Las Vegas. I go back to the Paris Olympics when I was watching Team USA. And somebody said, well, hang on, Seattle. They really, they love France. Now I'm sitting here in Italy, and you go into all these shops, and what do they have bobbleheads of? Soccer players, NBA players. What do you see the kids wearing over here? NBA jerseys. I went into the meatball shop. I told Puckett and Tim, the guy's talking about the Sonics. I've heard rumors that the NBA loves taking over the world. Loves global. Has that slowed down? Have you heard anything? Has that slowed down the expansion to Seattle and Vegas about the possibilities of going to Europe?
So I think what's going on with the NBA and their interest in Europe is actually what's accelerated the process for Seattle and Vegas kind of coming back on the radar. Because think back a year ago, there was kind of this buzz in the fall of 24 that something was going to happen, and then it really dissipated for about 9 months, and then it kind of picked back up a little bit. And I think what's happened is the NBA is going to launch their branded product, their branded league in Europe, probably in 27, 28. I think that's the goal of the timeline. And they're going to go to Berlin, and they're going to go to, try and have a team in Paris and try and have a team in London. And they want to have their branded league that's not NBA, expansion, but a branded European league that plays in the Euro League tournament. And there's going to be a promotion and relegation aspect to it. They want to have that, they want to have that influence and that footprint in the European market. But that's going to be come out of the pocket of the owners here to fund the startup for that. And I think what's happened is they've looked at the numbers of what that's going to cost and said, okay, yeah, we have this new media deal that's giving us all of this money coming in, but we're going to now spend X amount on starting this league in Europe. How can we all of a sudden make up that revenue gap if that money's no longer in our pockets? Oh, we charge two cities $6 or $7 billion, and we bring on 2 more teams and distribute that among the 30 teams that already are existing. I think that's how this calculus is going to play out. So in both worlds, the NBA kind of wins because they expand domestically. They bring Seattle back in. They get Vegas in the door. They make their owners happy by putting more money in their pockets, and they launch their European brand and start something fresh and new there, which is going to lose money initially, but they see a really strong opportunity to make money eventually by being in the European market with their own branded product, to the point, as you're making, Chris, of like walking around and people are talking about the NBA and kids are wearing jerseys and it's in the deli that the conversations are happening. So I think actually they're going hand in hand, and instead of working against each other, are actually working together in this.
Okay, before you go, the timeline is what? The All-Star game is this week. He'll talk on Saturday. We expect what, Board of Governors in late March?
Jason, real quick, I know the Super Bowl was on King 5. Where can you watch the NBA All-Star game? I'm in Europe. I'm sorry, I don't have the TV guide.
I gotta look it up. Let's see.
I'm too distracted by that picture behind your bed there, Chris, to give you a good answer on that.
I just found it, Chris. It's on NBC.
Thank you, Jason.
Unbelievable. Is there anything you guys don't have? The Olympics, the Super Bowl. You got freaking baseballs coming back this year. My God, let other people have some stuff. So, Board of Governors in New York, outside the famed Regis Hotel, I would assume, where I spent many a days in the bitter cold trying to chase people down. Late March, early April. That's when we think that they'll have it there, right?
Yeah, that sounds like the timeline. And then, I heard Mitch with you yesterday. There's nothing that precludes the league from sometime between that meeting in the early spring and their summer meeting from making some sort of announcement. But I think the idea is we're looking March as kind of an important stepping stone, or March, April as important stepping stone in this process. And then potentially some real resolution or news, definitely by the time we come to the Board of Governors meeting during Summer League in July.
Okay. Hey, Tim, do we just assume that if they give Seattle an expansion team?
One question, and you've asked four.
Yeah, I know, but I think this is important. Do we just assume that if Silver says Seattle's going to get an expansion team, that someone's on board with spending $7 billion to have the team and make the team come here? Don't shake your head, Puck. That's a damn good question.
No, it's a
great question.
You think they don't have the money lined up, you dope? Of course they've got the money lined up.
Well, I just wanted to make double dog sure about that, because we're talking figures that not many people can afford you. I was just about ready to say F you, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'll give the old guy credit for this part of it, because you're right. You should have the money. They're having conversations behind the scenes. You're going to have the money lined up ahead of time once you know what the final cost is going to be. But what was the big thing 2 weeks ago? What was the big story 2 weeks ago? It's Jody's going to sell the Seahawks after the season. I do wonder if there's an element out there where, if this drags on very much longer by the NBA and all of a sudden the Seahawks hit the market, if some people who might have committed money toward the NBA endeavors might be like, hey, I'd rather be an owner with an NFL team and maybe pivot some of their funds that way. I'm not saying it's going to be an outright owner, but it might be a minority investor that you're looking to have in the process. So yes, they should have the money lined up. They should have the people lined up of who are going to be involved in this before they make the announcement that, yes, we are going to go to these cities. But there is until it happens, there's going to be uncertainty about whether you have everybody in place and you have enough funds to finance whatever the final total of this is going to be.
All right, Tim, great stuff. Go read all of his work up at SeattleTimes.com. Jim, we're not going to let you have a seventh question.
Thank you, Tim, for justifying my question.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, can I get one more question from Tim?
No, we got to go.
What's the number one high school team right now, Tim?
What is it?
He has
to leave. We have to go to.
Hey, I got two words
Troy
for
wins.
you.
We can wait on his ass, okay?
Yeah.
What do you got,
don't
Tim?
listen to instructions.
I got 2 words for you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
There you go.
Bye, thanks, Tim. Tim's the mature one. We were on
Is that one?
We were on his time frame because Egan said he had to be out. Don't you need to leave?
Well, I mean, yeah, I do gotta get to the.
Okay, still, this was all based on you.
Get to Bob Condotta.
No, this was on Egan. I wanted Egan here, then Egan's got to leave. All right, enjoy. Yeah. What are you going to go watch? Women's hockey?
U.S. women taking on Italy tonight, tomorrow. I'm heading to watch Cooper McLeod from Kirkland and Juanita High. He'll be in the 500 meter. Corinne Stoddard will be speed skating tomorrow. Eunice Lee from Bellevue, possibly speed skating. We got our two, Luke Violet, Ben Richardson, both curling. And don't forget the Ozone tonight, 7:30 on the Big Five, King Five. I will feature Philip Grubauer, your goaltender
let's
for
go.
Team Germany. And Jim, I'm going to tell you what, I've interviewed a lot of players. But when you sit in a mixed zone at an Olympics and U.S. hockey and the Canadian hockey team walk by, whoo, some big boys. And I'm going to tell you what, Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid, class act. Connor McDavid, class act. Fun interview with those guys. Good stuff.
They're the best. They're the best.
Yeah.
All right, Egan, have a blast. Thanks for doing it. And I know you're really busy over there. We love watching the Olympics there on NBC, the Super Bowl on NBC. The NBA All-Star Game on NBC, the upcoming MLB season on NBC, the rock, paper, scissors.
Home of the Kraken.
Rock, paper, scissors coming in the fall of 2026 on NBC, hosted by Mike Tirico.
And we're hoping we can land the Daily Puck Drop coming soon. To
talk
NBC.
to somebody. There's a
we
few
were
shows
trying
that
to
can
get
replace.
Trying to get it, but somebody on the show keeps swearing. So we get.
Well, there we go. All right, see you, Chris.
All right, boys, be good.
There he is, Chris Egan from Italy. Oh man, what a time, huh? What a time.
That's a good effort. What is it over there? 7:30? 7:30 tonight?
Hold on, I'm distracted right now. You got to give me a second.
I felt like those follow-up questions were necessary for Tim Booth there.
I think that they were necessary, sure. Okay, hold on. I got to put my right credit card information in here. Hold on.
For what?
I'm trying to get tickets.
You've already become a paid subscriber to Jim Moore, the go-to guy.
Yeah, no, I'm.
I haven't found any new paid subscribers since I wrote about Ernest Jones. Just hasn't happened.
Card declined. Hold on.
For what? What are you trying to get?
Bring my wallet to me. Bring my wallet to me, please. I'm trying to get tickets tonight to the Metro Basketball Championship, and I forgot they went on sale at 10.
Oh. Well,
Rainier Beach and O'Day play. No, they're out. They're going to be out in like 10 minutes.
Well, okay, go ahead. You want me to take over the show?
No, I don't want you to do anything. Don't want you to do anything. Just need my wife to bring. She's probably on a call. Are you on a call? It's not good. You can carry it. Why don't you carry it for a second? I'm going to get my wallet. Go get it.
What's happening? So what's happening?
Carry the show, Jim.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to carry the show here while Puck tends to his personal matters. I have not. Has anybody else seen this Rainier Beach kid? Tell me what he's all about in the chat room there, if you could. I saw he's had like 63 points. I just heard from my buddy Glenn Nelson, who's covering the team.
We couldn't do this on the radio.
We couldn't do what?
You didn't even do anything. Why aren't you talking? Why aren't you doing anything?
I was talking. I was talking about the Rainier Beach kid. I don't even know his name, but I know he's sensational.
You should have done. You know what you should have done? Like they do when they do books. You should have read a little paragraph from your story about why Ernest Jones should not have swore.
Yeah, that was not well received by the 12.
I can't hear you now. What'd you do?
You can't hear me now? I didn't do anything.
No one can hear you.
I'm just
you muted
here.
yourself, sir.
I did nothing.
You literally muted yourself.
I didn't touch anything. I didn't touch anything.
No one can hear you. What did you do to your microphone? You did something to your microphone. I can't
swear to
hear
God,
you.
I didn't touch a thing.
Oh, never mind. It was me.
Yeah, I know. I said I didn't touch a thing.
It was me. Instead of hitting the don't talk button, I hit the
yeah.
But you mute my headphones. God, we are a mess.
It's always Jim.
No, it's not. Yeah. You know what? Come on.
I'm always the victim,
You are always the victim. But you know what? You shouldn't be the victim. I'm going to defend you. I really am.
It's okay. I see why people are so angry about it because You know, he might have been drunk and he was following up on what he said. He's backing up his quarterback and he just wants to say, shove it to the rest of the world.
Do you think there are other?
I think a lot of people doubted Sam Darnold. He's right about that. And when he stuck up for his quarterback down in LA after he threw 4 interceptions, that was all well and good, fine, dandy, all of that.
Don't you think there are other Seahawks fans that didn't like him swearing?
There were some, but they were in the minority.
It doesn't make you a bad fan. Okay. Hey, you know what? This guy, F you. Weren't you a producer? Hey, Blanchard 75. Hey, you know what I'm going to say, Ernest Jones? Fuck you. You tried doing this all by yourself with no producer, no one helping you out. So screw you.
What? Hey, you're going to lose a Puck's posse member by
you know what? I don't think we're going to miss Blanchard Dan 75. Screw you, Dan.
He was just giving you a hard time, though.
I'm just giving him a hard time.
Okay.
All right, tickets secured. Perfect. Headed to the Metro.
Where are they holding that? Is it
Seattle Pacific.
Oh, it's Seattle Pacific. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Royal Brome Pavilion.
Royal Brome Pavilion. Okay. I was not offended by it. Okay? Not offended by it. But would I prefer him not to do it? Yeah, probably. Am I one of these like, oh, yeah, the kids, my kids have heard it 100 times. All right. But do I want them doing it? Do I want them emulating Ernest Jones? No, but I guess it's my job to parent them not to do it. I can also make a point. I was going to save this for Hey, What the Puck, but I also make the point of this. I know with these guys, they've had a long 7 months. I do think a little bit in these celebrations, we've gotten a little carried away with the booze, where it's gotten really just like, how drunk can we possibly get? And I understand it all. But again, there is a public image that you do have a little bit to a degree. Now, again, that's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want. But, I think when you're watching it and seeing guys fall over or seeing your president, general manager slurring, I mean, it's a little much. But again, that's whatever. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and like,
okay, Snowflake.
No,
okay, Brandon.
Fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I would say that for you or anyone that didn't like what Ernest Jones said, I would defend the people that are going to defend Ernest Jones for just 1 second. Okay? If you had a problem with Ernest Jones, did you have a problem with this?
You saying we love you? Might as well go win the whole fucking thing.
Did you have a problem with that?
Did I personally?
Just anyone that had a problem with Ernest Jones. Did you have a problem with Cal Raleigh swearing?
I did not have a problem with that.
Okay. So then why do you have a problem with Ernest Jones?
That's a very good question. Did Cal Raleigh say it again?
Yes, he did it multiple times. He did it multiple times.
Okay, yeah, he did it. Not aware of that. I thought
he did it with a Jen. He did it on route.
I thought it was a one-time thing.
No, he did it multiple times.
I would just say, I guess I don't have much of a defense there, but the only thing I would say in my defense is that it just seemed like it was in a different context than the way that Jones blatantly just came right out and said, F you.
I mean, I could even in a weird way defend Jones more than I could defend Cal. I mean, Jones is doing it.
Go ahead.
Well, because he's defending his teammate.
Okay.
He's sticking up for a guy that's been.
So it's a gratuitous use of the F word by Cal Raleigh, and he could have made his point without saying that.
Let's just go win the whole thing.
Hey man, let's just go win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, swearing and all that. It's more
acceptable to say these kinds of things now. And
sure.
I attribute it to the guy in the White House has something to do with that.
Oh, I don't know if it's that. I just think it's.
I do. He's made it okay to be rude to people and condescending.
Yeah, but Jim, stop it. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this.
No, I know, but that's just
no. But that's this is swearing has nothing to do with being rude. They're not being rude. Yes, Jones and Raleigh aren't being rude. They're using plenty of people have swore in the past to get their point across. I think these guys in like Ernest Jones, he's had 7 months of just like not being able to cut it loose. Don't you think? I think he just cut it loose. And it's hard. You got a little booze flowing in you.
Again, I felt like it was fine when he said it after the 4 interception game. Like, hey, that was cool that he did that.
Okay.
And just didn't need to follow up with what he did Wednesday at Lumen Field.
All right.
That's just how I felt about it. But Lord knows, you can't have an opinion anymore. And if you do have one that differs from your own opinion, then you're an idiot and a fool and old.
Yeah, and we're going to get to it later in the show. And that's the issue that I have with a lot of people. Like, it's an opinion. Okay, just say
I don't think the people who think that it was okay for him to say "F you," I can see where they're coming from. They're fired up. They're huge fans of the team. They won the Super Bowl. Young guy, feeling his oats, like, okay, go Seahawks, So I get, I don't think they're idiots for thinking that. They just have a different opinion than I do.
How about, have you seen the clip of Schneider, like, reading his lips where he goes, I'm pretty effed up?
No, I missed that part.
You got to go back and watch it. It's right before It's right before I think Ernest Jones takes the mic. There's one camera on Schneider, and he's like holding that cup, kind of holding that red Solo cup, and he's like, he looks at somebody and goes, I'm pretty effed up. 10 o'clock in the morning. Just getting after
Schneider's a beauty. Schneider's a beauty.
They're all a beauty.
I love all this talk about whether he's a Hall of Fame GM or not. And
whether or not he is, he's a shoo-in. I talked with Garofalo on Thursday. He's a shoo-in. There's no doubt about it. Might as well just put him in now.
And good for him.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
for him, man. Yeah.
All right, we got one more visit with this guy, and we thought we would look ahead to a bunch of the bets and futures coming up in the NFL, baseball, March Madness, the Masters, college football. In fact, I even had someone email me and asking, hey, can you, next time you have Troy on, can you ask him how I can bet on baseball? So we're even going to get that. We're going to lob that in there. Ladies and gentlemen, he's our handicapper, TroyWins.com. It's Troy West on social media. Hello, Troy.
How we doing? Was it a big leaguer that emailed you? How can I bet on baseball? Was it a Seattle Mariner that asked you that? Or does he need me to run for him or something?
Dominic Canzone wants to know.
Yeah. Was that the email?
I'll get that out of the way first. It was a great email from Rob Brody. And Rob Brody said, hey, ask Troy next time. He goes, I bet on the NFL all the time. Obviously, I know how to bet on the NFL, money line, point spread, all of that. He wants to know, what's your strategy for betting on baseball? He goes, should I just take the M's on the money line every game? Now, I should have responded back to Rob. That one year was like 3 years ago, where it was the bet M's under summer forever.
Exactly.
I bet on the under in every game because they couldn't score. And it actually came out pretty good. But for Rob, how would you bet on baseball? What would your suggestion be to him?
Well, great point earlier. I mean, finding good trends like that. I mean, I just last year, sometimes I'll find guys like Logan Gilbert and just bet their unders, or Brian Wu. There's certain pitchers that, like you mentioned, that even with the Mariners are hitting well, they don't hit well for Logan Gilbert, or they don't hit well for Brian Wu. So finding stats and trends like that can be a lot of fun. I'm a big believer in the Mariners this year. I like doing different futures bets. Actually, one of my favorite bets of the year is the Seattle Mariners to win the AL West. They're plus 120 right now to win the West. And I look at that West and I'm like, boy, I think Houston's down this year. I mean, they lose, arguably their ace for the last few years. They've lost some of the guys in the lineup. They're older. I mean, the Angels are bad. The A's are bad. I'm not sure what you're going to get from Texas. So I actually thought the Mariners at plus 120 to win the West looked really juicy. And I think the Mariners are just going to be a pretty consistently good bet this year, to believe it or not.
Okay. So but for Rob, though, would you tell him just if he were to just bet on the money line every game?
You got to be careful with the money line, because if they're playing, the Oakland A's the Las Vegas A's or the Athletics, they're going to be favored 2-1 on some of those. So, with baseball money lines, you got to be somewhat careful, because, the Dodgers, I mean, they're going to be -3. I mean, believe it or not, the Dodgers last year, guys, I believe they were third or fourth, the least profitable team in baseball last year, because Vegas had them projected to win 104 games last year. They didn't even sniff that. Yes, they won the World Series, but they were like -300, minus 350 in a huge bulk of their games. So even if they're winning 3 out of 4, you're breaking even on something like that when you're betting those high money lines. So
Okay.
definitely a strategy to baseball, without a doubt. But I usually try to stick to over-unders just
Okay.
because you're getting better odds on your money there.
Well, and then for a casual fan, though, someone who hasn't gambled on baseball before, it's kind of fun to do those future bets because you can
Right.
you can just spend $20, $50 and bet on the Mariners to win the AL West, like you're saying, and have a bet that lasts all season long. What are they to win the World Series this year? Have you looked at that?
I've got to double check it, guys, but I think they're about 13-1. You have in front of you, Puck? Yeah, around there.
13-1. They've got the third best odds behind the Dodgers at plus 230 and the Yankees at plus 950.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
13-1 that sounds pretty good on the Mariners.
13-1 sounds really good on the Mariners. I'll be honest with you.
It does.
Really.
I like this team a lot. I mean, and I'll be honest, this is the first, even last year, I didn't think they'd be this good. My biggest worry actually would be Cal Raleigh, right? Is this guy, I mean, if he hits 45 home runs, 50 home runs, how much of a drop off do they take, right? So that's one of the big things for me is how much production did his production last year, how many wins did that count for? Sure. And he's obviously going to take a dip, and how big of a dip, that's scary. But I do like the pieces they brought in. Pitching's great, bullpen's great. I think they're going to be a good bet this year.
To win the American League, they're at 5-1. Yankees are at 4-1. Blue Jays 6-1. Red Sox 7-1. To win the American League. Now to win the AL West, they got the best odds, obviously, plus 110, followed by Houston at plus 200. Rangers plus 340, A's plus 1,600, Angels plus 4,000.
I like I said, I'm into it. Yeah, I mean, especially like that AL West to me is the weakest division. I think the Central, with the Tigers probably run away with the Central, maybe the Guardians hang in there, but the West to me is just brutal. I just think the Athletics, they're going to be bad again. Angels bad. Yeah. Rangers haven't really upgraded the roster, and I really think Houston takes a dip this year.
How about for us degenerates? Spring training baseball bets, spring games. Come on, Troy. There must be some. Do you have any ways to kind of find some good wagers in spring baseball?
Well, it's one of those ones, Gib. You better have inside information, right? You better be making phone calls to the people on the inside and go, how many innings is the starter going to go, and who are going to be your bullpen guys? Because I've seen so many spring training games that start out where Brian Wu goes 3 innings of no hit ball and they're up 1-0, and here comes the gas cans throwing the innings 4 through 9. So to me there's really no value in betting spring training unless you truly know that maybe a starter is going to go 5 or 6 innings in a game, and maybe the Padres are throwing their bullpen guys for the day. So, there could be some strategy to it without a doubt. It's kind of like preseason.
How about
football.
Going over in the games?
Yeah. That to me is the over. Yeah.
You do see a lot of overs. You do see a lot of overs.
I mean, what's worse, spring training or WNBA preseason?
Yeah. Or NFL preseason, right? They're all rough. You really got to know who's going to be playing and where's the motivation lie, all that kind of stuff.
How about the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, we've looked at some of the men's hockey. So actually, Grubauer played for Germany yesterday. He had a good game. Germany won 3-1. Saw our guy Grubauer play yesterday. But no, the Olympics we stay clear of. Stay clear of the Olympics.
Well, I got a gold medal. It's live right now. The men's half pipe. I got Scotty James at minus 250. Let's put some money on. The guy from Japan, Ruka Hirayano, at plus 300. We could put a little money on that one.
Okay.
I think betting on the Olympics would be, I'd have no idea what I'm doing, but I have no idea what I'm doing in any type of betting. So that doesn't really matter. I just think it would be, if I'm going to watch curling late at night, I might as well have some money on it, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Hey, Troy, I'm assuming that personally and professionally, the Super Bowl was good for TroyWins.com.
I had the under right. But I did think that the Patriots would hang in that game. So I broke about even on it. I thought it would be a 23-20, 24-20. I'll be honest, guys, my biggest takeaway from that Super Bowl was genuinely that Drake May is not an elite quarterback in this league. And it wasn't just the Seahawks made him look bad. He's careless with the ball. He missed a lot of throws. Maybe his shoulder injury. They said that, he took a shot before the game. But my biggest takeaway was if he was with any other team this year, that guy's maybe not even a top 10 quarterback. I just did not think Drake May lived up to any of the hype. For him to be you got to remember, this is the guy that could have won the MVP of the NFL. He was right behind Matthew Stafford. I didn't see an MVP quarterback, and I get a lot of that was the Seahawks defense. I just didn't think that guy was up for the big game at all.
Let's rally through some of these futures. I've got it in front of me. If you guys do as well, and then you can go with follow up with anything. But Seahawks and Rams are both plus 950 to win the Super Bowl. Both are plus 475 to win the conference. Here's the interesting part, though. But the Rams to win the division plus 155. Seahawks are plus 160.
That is interesting. I mean, I think even this year was such a toss up between those teams. If they would have played 10 times, it probably would have been 5-5. Free agency is the big factor. And you guys got to remember this last Super Bowl, New England and the Seahawks, they had those was the two teams, the longest shot odds to make the Super Bowl ever in the existence of the NFL. So if we're looking at next year, do we really think Seattle's going to repeat? Do we think the Rams are going to be there? They're obviously going to be older. But again, this year, you got to start almost looking at those long shots next year. The Houston Texans, are they going to be this kind of up and rising team with the defense that they have? But, again, I know a lot of local people in Seattle that like Seattle this year, but man, I think you're like at the start of the year, you're getting 40 or 50 to 1, and you were getting that with New England as well. So, again, going into next year, it very rarely is it the two favorites that get in there.
Well, the favorite in the AFC are Buffalo Bills at 11 to 1. Do you agree with that, or do you expect Kansas City to bounce back?
Free agency and the draft's going to be huge, but I'm not a believer in Joe Brady. I was really surprised that was who they ended up going with. I thought they'd go with somebody a little bit, with a little bit more experience. I thought they would make a big push at Harbaugh or even Mike Tomlin or somebody like that. But Joe Brady, he's done a good job with the offense, but that hasn't been the problem in Buffalo. It's been the defense. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if they can shore that up. And I know they got the guy from Denver, but they've got to make some big free agent signings.
Vegas loves them. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Super Bowl odds for the matchups are Bills Seahawks at plus 3,000, Bills or Rams at 3,000. A rematch of the Seahawks Patriots is at plus 4,000. MVP Allen is the leader. He's at plus 550, followed by Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy plus 1,800. Sam Darnold, by the way, plus 2,800 there for that. But yeah, Vegas loves the Buffalo Bills.
They do.
Are early on, and Vegas loves that. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza will be the number one pick. Is it like minus 10,000?
Yeah, exactly.
It is unbelievable that he's going to be the number one pick. All right, March Madness, because that's kind of right around the corner, right? Month or so away from it. What are we looking at? Obviously, it's probably Arizona, Michigan are probably the two heavy favorites.
Yeah, and it's sad to say that, UConn, that's the one thing that we love March Madness, and I love it just as much as anybody, but there hasn't been a ton of parity in the last couple of years. The UConn's been kind of the runaway. Ultimately, in the end, you get a lot of upsets throughout the tournament, but then you get to the Final Four, and here come the 1 and 2 seeds. It does, at least for right now, from my eye, it seems like a two-team race. It seems like it's Arizona, Michigan. You could maybe mix in Kansas when they're healthy and they're playing at their full force. Iowa State looks like a decent little sleeper team. But right now, my personal money is going to be on Michigan. They seem to play when they want to play, but they're well coached. They're lengthy. They can shoot. That's a good Michigan team.
You got a long shot at all to make the Final Four at least?
There's some. St. Louis is one. They actually play tonight, guys. They play Loyola Chicago. They're 21-2. They're just a feisty team. I think they're a team to watch in the tournament. I don't have their odds right in front of me, but that's a really good team. Virginia Commonwealth's another one that they're just playing really good basketball again. It's like they were that Cinderella story a while back. I think they're going to be back as well.
Texas Tech, maybe. I think Arkansas has been mentioned in there as well. Even Kentucky has gotten a few people to maybe take a look at there for the Final Four. All right, the Masters. Oh, where's my Masters music? Do I have Masters music somewhere?
Gosh, we need Masters music. They're at Pebble Beach right now. You can play Masters music during Pebble Beach. There we go. I love that you have that on speed dial.
It's the best.
It is the best.
Okay, the Masters, we got Scotty at plus 300. We got Rory at plus 600 and Rahm Bryson at plus 1,000. It would assume that everyone's going to put their money on Scotty Scheffler, right?
And that's the boring bet, right? I mean, but he is he automatic? Yes. But you know what, guys? I mean, when it comes to the Masters, I heard an interesting stat. And Puck, I know you're a golf guy, so but when you go into these, really, there's only about 8 to 10 guys that really have a legitimate shot. I can't remember who the longest shot odds were to win the Masters, but it's been a long time since we've seen just a Cinderella story win that tournament. I would probably, if I had to go, I'd go with like a Bryson to finally break through at the Masters. Scotty, I mean, he looked good, obviously, in the American Express. Didn't look that good. He hasn't looked that good at Pebble. We'll see. But, you know, like you said, how do you bet against him? You feel so stupid when he wins all these tournaments, and you're just like, why am I not betting him? But
Jim,
I would like Bryson at 10-1.
Jim, you got a long shot. Who do you got?
I don't have anybody in the Masters yet, but I'm just wondering about Scotty Scheffler, though. The last 2 weeks getting off to slow starts. Are there any concerns if this continues with him?
I think it's too early in the season. I mean, he still shot 27 under at the American Express. And last week he made the surge at the Waste Management. It was a little too late, but he did make. I just feel like Scotty just kind of seems to play when he wants to play. He just seems kind of disinterested in some of these tournaments, is what I've noticed. So I think we'll see a different guy at the Masters.
Well, one person needs Siwoo Kim to frickin' pick it up. All right, let's go, bud. Even through 3, 5, 7 shots off the lead. Let's go, Siwoo.
I took Goddard out to repeat. He was, I don't know where he's at now, but he bogeyed the first 2 today.
I'll give you kind of a long shot, and he is playing great golf right now. And he was there. Was it last year? Yeah, last year Rory won. Yeah, he was there last. Justin Rose at 30-1.
Yeah, I love that. I do love that. He is playing good golf. I agree.
And Patrick Reed again. Look what he did last year. He's top
Always
3.
Patrick Reed. Yeah,
and then he's won twice over in Europe.
Yeah. You can't feel you just, even if you like Patrick Reed, you can't put money on that guy. You got to root for him to lose, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I love Patrick Reed.
Oh, God,
he helped me win $9,000 last year at the Masters.
Yeah, listen, we can love to hate him, Troy.
That's those nice breasts, you know. I mean, I love the guy.
Did you say he has nice breasts?
Yeah, he does.
All right.
Interesting.
It's a new one.
Not sure I would say I would go there, but okay. All right. Hey, Troy, great stuff as always, mate. We'll catch up with you when we got some big bets to cover.
Please do.
But then we'll reconvene once the NFL gets rocking and rolling. But we may check in with you every now and again.
Yeah, I'll do some March Madness or something.
Yeah, it'd be great. But thanks for doing it every single week on the show. Appreciate it. And again, tell everybody where they can go to get all the betting advice from you guys.
Yeah, definitely follow us on Instagram. It's Troy West. And then we also have our entire prop division, guys. It's really cool. TW Props on Instagram as well. Tons of free stuff that we're giving away. $99 gets you a month of picks, and we're making people a lot of money. So it's Troy West on Instagram. Website is troywins.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Troy.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care, Jim. See you guys.
All right. There he is, our handicapper there at PuckSports, troywins.com. Yeah, give me Justin Rose. I think I'm going to be all over Rose. 30-1.
Yeah, 30-1. Yeah.
Playing great
in
golf.
the playoff with Rory last year.
Yeah, right there. Right there. I'm staying away from Rahm. I can't believe Rahm's odds there. Played good at all. He's playing over there. I don't like him at all. Oh, Ludwig is at 26-1. Ludwig Aubert.
Has he been sick or something? I don't know. He just hasn't played that well early on this year anyway.
We didn't get to college football, but Indiana, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame are at plus 700. They are the favorites. Oregon's at plus 900. Now, I can't find you Wazoo or UW. Wazoo is probably right behind Texas and Ohio State, probably about plus 850 to win the whole thing under new Kirby Moore. But again, they don't give odds at DraftKings because we can't bet on college football, college sports here.
What do you think the odds are that Danny Sprinkle and David Riley get fired this year?
Yeah, I'm going to feel bad for David Riley. I like David Riley. I don't like Danny Sprinkle. And this is just not the anti-Husky me. He just rubs me the wrong way. The way he acts on the sideline. You remember when he first got the job, he was dismissive of playing Washington State every year. Like it was above them to play them. You know what? He's been a nothing burger, an absolute fraud hire by that school. Fraud. And he brought in the fat
I thought
kid.
That was supposed to be a great recruiting class they had this year.
Remember he brought in the fat kid who couldn't make it up the court, and they paid him like $4 million? The fat kid couldn't even, he's like me out there. He couldn't even run up the court.
No, you lose to Penn State the other night.
Fraud. He's just a fraud. Absolute fraud. They just stole money from that school. Yeah. Listen, both schools should hire one guy. Yeah, hold on. Before I say this, I make sure they're doing okay. He's always been a good coach. I think he's got connections to UW anyways. It's the guy at Montana. Travis DeClure, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's always been good there. I don't know what. Now, again, maybe there's something wrong with him. I don't know, because he's always got good teams, but he never makes that jump. And maybe it's because the competition. I don't know what it is, but he never makes that jump up. He seems like he would get better jobs. But yeah, I would imagine both are probably making changes there in the offseason. Maybe not for Washington. Maybe they owe him a lot of money and they can't do it.
Yeah, probably more likely that we make a change.
But we're going to make a change. There's just no way we can go into the new conference next year with David Riley. And I feel bad because I thought it was a very good hire. I liked it. It was cheap. I get it. But I thought he was a good coach. He always had good teams at Eastern, but he just hasn't.
Yeah, you look at our team, and actually, we're just a little more talented. We should be better than what we are.
I would agree.
I know we're not that talented outside of ace class.
But Washington should be more talented, should be better than they are. I mean, you look at that team. They got some guys. I mean, the German dude is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That kid's great.
Yeah. Not meeting expectations, either program. But you're right.
That's hard.
I think Riley's going to go before Sprinkle does.
Yeah. All right. I love what you wrote. I don't think you needed to write another column to justify what you wrote. And
I didn't really justify it. I just was trying to address, Cal Raleigh and then Sam Darnold. Are you getting a Sam Darnold T-shirt where he's flipping off the world? You getting one of those?
Sure. Where do they sell it? Sure. I'm going to buy you one.
Just go online, just Sam Darnold T-shirt, and then FU and Google it, and Etsy has it and all these. I don't know. You can get
I love Etsy. I love
$15, $23. You can get your Sam Darnold T-shirt.
Again, the premise of it is it doesn't matter. Like, you can disagree with the opinion, but we don't need to name call. If you disagree with the opinion, it's just it's an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I realize it's not popular, but yeah, I mean, Snowflake is my favorite one though.
Oh, a snowflake! You are a snowflake.
Yeah,
you really are.
I know. I am.
All right. Well, see you, Mr. Snowflake. We'll. Oh, hey, nothing next week. PuckSports is taking a break. We're taking a break. You and I deserve some time off.
You're taking the whole week off?
Taking the whole week off. Midwinter break. Taking the break. Taking the week off to recharge the old batteries.
Are you going somewhere?
Might go down to Portland to go watch the Blazers play. Might take the Vampire down there. We always try to go catch a basketball game. They're playing the T-Wolves, but it's Ant-Man, so that's good. And then probably not. Maybe a quick overnight camping trip somewhere, but the weather, as you would imagine here in February, it's raining everywhere.
Well, it's been a good winter, though. It's been a really good winter weather-wise.
I tried to look into spring training. Like, could we sneak down there for a quick 2 days? Flights are pretty reasonable. They're only like $800 a pop.
Are they? To go to Arizona from Seattle?
It's just crazy. Wow. So I don't think that's going to happen, but that's always a fun time. I know a lot of people that are going down there next week, and it's a blast. Go there. Hey, listen, my PSA to you, and you probably know it. Maybe you don't. If you're going down to spring training, it's fun, and I guess the game is next Friday, the 20th? Yeah. Get there early, 8:30 in the morning, and just head to the back fields at the Mariners complex. It's right behind the big building, right of the stadium. Head back there. There's 5-6 fields back there. You can watch them throw bullpens. You can watch. You watch them all. You watch the old guys. You got to watch the young guys. They come out. They sign everything. Except for JP. Everybody else signs everything except for JP.
Oh, really?
He's the only one that doesn't sign.
This is his last year starting shortstop, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would assume.
Yeah.
Get there early. Go watch Colt Emerson. Go watch these young guys. Laz Montez when they get in there and start hitting. I mean, it's a blast. If you're a baseball fanatic, and especially your kids, and I'm joking here with JP. He's just the one that is kind of all business sometimes, but they do a really good job, these guys. They stop and they sign as much as they can. And just make sure if you got kids there, push the old people out of the way. The old people that have their little albums of their cards, and then they try to get in the front. Hey, Cal, remember me last year? No, Suzanne, he doesn't remember you last year. No recollection. But the 10-year-old that's behind your fat ass, why don't you move over a little bit so Johnny can get up there and get his baseball signed? Okay? Suzanne?
You've had a lot of comments about fat people today.
Well, I think when you're one, you can call out others.
I'm fired up about the Mariners, though, aren't you?
Oh, of
When
course.
I read
can't
that
wait.
story about Brendan Donovan, and as soon as I saw that I like to play really hard, like my hair's on fire, I'm going, okay, I already like you.
Yeah.
I already like you.
Just,
You're going to give me 100% for 162 games? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm totally in.
He kind of fits in with all that team. It just seems like a real good fit, Brendan Donovan. I don't know what kind of player he is. I haven't really watched him. I mean, I've read his stats and all that. But he just seems attitude-wise he's going to be perfect. And they just come across as a lot of just baseball players, right? They're just dudes that just love to get dirty and play baseball. So, great.
That left-hander, that lefty they got from the Nationals reading.
Oh, he looked pretty good. Well, that's all I do every day. And I did it again today. I watched Logan Gilbert throw a bullpen session. I just watched Ryan Divish videos at Ryan Divish on Twitter. He just, all the bullpen videos. I just do it. That's all I do. It's great.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
It's the best.
It's going to be fun.
All right. So we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, Puck. Take care. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. There he is. Jim Moore with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And again, we're going to take next week off. It's midwinter break for us. And if football season's over, we got to recharge a little bit. And then kind of make that transition over to baseball, and that will be kind of it's always a weird time between like football and baseball, and then our regular guests that come on. So probably when we come back after the break, shows might be just a little bit different. We might just go like 3 days a week, just for a little bit before we ramp it up. A full baseball coverage, and we got all the guys are coming back. But again, next week we'll be off. All the shows, not doing anything. Next week. All right, before we get to the last word with Bob Condotta on a little lengthy show, I do want to promote what we so far this week for our Puck's Posse members. And if you're not a member, and that's okay, you don't have to be a Puck's Posse member. There's nothing wrong with that. But you just got to sign up, and it's just $5 there a month, and you can sign up for a discount, by the way. If you sign up for a year, you get a discount. It's like $5, or excuse me, it's like $55 if you sign up there for a year. But it's great, it's fun, and we try to give you a bang for your buck, is what I like to say. We're going to start off first with KJ Arntz, which led us to having Tim Booth on today. Mitch Levy, who it's his opinion, but also I think it's an opinion that has some substance behind it. But we talked yesterday after talking about the Seahawks about NBA coming back to Seattle. And is there a date that is looming for that announcement?
June is the vote. That's what I've been told. After the NBA Finals, June.
Look at you. Look at you.
But I don't know. Don't go by me. I'm not.
Is June going to be the vote? Do we know if that vote's going to be good? Is it just majority, right? Well, they don't need or do they need like a 75% or something?
Again, are you asking me? I'll give you my opinion. I don't have any inside information, but I would say to you that if it becomes a big popular thing and a story that they're going to vote, if they let this out, I think at that point it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to pass.
Okay, that full, again, KJ Arntz with Mitch, where we talk a lot about expansion and, of course, the Seahawks, available if you are a Puck's Posse member. I had mentioned that on Tuesdays we talked with Stretch on the Sports Pit, and it was great to catch up with Stretch this week, detailing going down to the Super Bowl with his brother Alan, and the great times that they had watching the Seahawks win yet another Super Bowl. And they decided that when the game was out of hand and you knew the Seahawks were going to win, the Johnson boys turned it up a bit.
In the third quarter, my brother and I kind of started partying. I mean, we just started
one after another coming down.
Yeah. Well, I looked at my bill, and I'll be honest with you, that they serve hard liquor in the regular for the common folk, and I bought 2 drinks for $75. And I giggled. And the guy said $75, and I said to him, "Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, no problem.
$75?
Yes." I bring the drink back, and my brother said, "How much was it?" And I paused. He goes, "I don't want to know, right?" Yeah. And I said, "No, it's all for entertainment. It's hysterical."
$75 for 2 drinks. But Stretch, it was great. Just him and his brother, who go to massive sporting events, all over the world. And again, going to the Super Bowl this week. Again, that's Tuesdays with Stretch. the Sports Pit. Last but not least, catching up with Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch every Wednesday, talking Mariners baseball. Now, there may be an Inside Pitch next week, but it won't include me. It may just include Divish and Adam Jew. They may record something, and then I put it up for them. But we talked this week about the early impressions of the guy we just talked about with Jim, Brendan Donovan.
Out here, and he asked, "Hey, what are the rules?" And they said, we work hard and prepare, and you're a good person. Those are the rules. And he's like perfect fit, and like you hear him talk, and you talk to other people about him, and you watch him, and you're like, oh my God, this is like the version of Cal Raleigh as an infield. Just super serious. Is there to work? Is there to win? The way he plays, like.
Again, that's Divish again on this week. Inside Pitch every single Wednesday from the Seattle Times, brought to you by Chalet Bull. Again, those 3 shows every single week. For Puck's Posse members, go to PuckSports.com to sign up to become a Posse member. Again, for just $5 a month. And again, it goes to support everything we do here free daily. Plus, we give you bonus shows throughout the week. We may be adding to that as the 2026 continues to roll on. All right. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, every Friday we get the last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times. We put the wraps on the Seahawks season, celebrating their 2nd Super Bowl, and we look ahead to the next season and the potential of the Seahawks repeating and big offseason moves that they need to make. Last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Prepare well, your team is probably going to play well. You're not always going to win, but they're going to play hard, and they're going to go out there and give good performance. You can live with that.
Today we're going to talk about our next opponent.
He's here. It's the last word. It truly is the last word with Bob Condotta. For a little bit, we'll have Bob on throughout the offseason. But for our weekly appearance until we kick up the NFL season starting next fall, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, from the Seattle Times, seattletimes.com, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offer, Rogers Pilsner, their new tavern beer. Their wonderful tasting room is open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. You know, every week, Bob, we have the little intro video of the great late Chuck Knox. It's because you and I kind of the same age. It's near and dear to our heart. We love Chuck Knox. I love the 80s of how he coached and how he talked and all of it. And I was thinking back to the Super Bowl. He would have loved that game. Like, that was just a perfect Chuck Knox game. Real good defense. They ran the ball, and special teams was unbelievably good, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you hit it on the head. I hadn't even thought of that, but for sure. That was kind of some old school football the way they won it there. Definitely. They took some, tried to take some shots in the passing game and did get a touchdown late. But yeah, I mean, it was a real grinded out game. And I know a lot of people who aren't Seahawk fans are like, that was one of the more boring Super Bowls ever, kind of like the 13 one, the 13/14 one as well. But there've been a lot of boring Super Bowls that only, when you've got one team that's the best team in the league that year, they play their biggest game, they play well in their biggest game. That's sort of what happens a little bit at times. And I thought going into the game, the Seahawks were the better team, and I thought the way they won the game was not totally surprising to me, really. When you kind of just broke it down, I thought their defense would play really. I thought it'd be hard for New England to do a lot on their defense, and that's definitely what turned out to be.
What do you think the parallels were between this team and that team in 13?
This team is just far more steady on defense. I feel like, or parallels actually. Okay, the parallels. I mean, I've always felt like that team was far more star driven than this team is. Like that team has the LOB team has, I think 4 guys, right? We all think are someday going to go in the Hall of Fame, and Sherm, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner. Well, at least 3 anyway. And then Cam Chancellor probably won't make it, but maybe could have, maybe could have if his career just played a couple more years. This team, at the moment, maybe it will down the road, but this team is just far more like every single guy just does his job all the time. They just don't make mistakes. They've got a master play caller in Mike McDonald who just really knows how to scheme things up for the other team. You hear, we were talking to Julian Love, and he's like, Saturday afternoon, we're still putting the stuff in for the next day's game. And that's not really what Pete Carroll would have been doing. I don't think Pete's style was just a little bit different of just like, we built this great defense and we're just going to go out and line up and beat you. And, but the parallel obviously is that the other team, even if they, in Mike McDonald's case, they don't always know what's coming. So that's what's different. In Pete's case, they often knew what was coming. They still just couldn't beat it. But, the parallel obviously is that they were just, and for this one game anyway, I feel like this defense had the same confidence, kind of an aura that team did in terms of when they got to the Super Bowl, they weren't losing. And the 13 team obviously had a far bigger challenge. I mean, that's still one of the greatest offenses in NFL history. Peyton Manning, who they had to play in that game. Peyton Manning still right at the prime of his career. This team, the Patriots aren't that. They were a far different kind of thing. And Drake May, maybe he'll turn out to be a great quarterback for years and years to come. But he was really good this year. But we'll see. If he rises to the level of a Peyton Manning type. So it was kind of different that way, but certainly I think the confidence that they had, sort of that loose feeling during the week that the LOB in general had in New York, this team and confidence they took into the game, this team shared.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that. I don't know if you've seen it yet. The NFL Films put out their 40-minute mic'd up segment, and I think you just got that sense. Now maybe it's easier to say now because they won. But I think you really got that sense, during the national anthem before the game, just listening to them talk, it just felt very reminiscent to how those guys talked in 13. They just seemed supremely confident. And then on the flip side, when you're listening to the Patriots and Vrabel talk, it didn't seem like they were that confident, that they were just like, all right, we know we've got to play really, really good to win this game. But yeah, I agree with you that, especially when I watched Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones and Devin Witherspoon talked before. They were sitting on that sideline before the kickoff.
Yeah, for sure. And one parallel would be how they came out of the gate in those games and what they did defensively. I know the Pats got a first down or 2 or whatever on that first drive, but the way they stopped those first couple drives was real tone setting, the same way that it was in 13, slightly different. Obviously, there was no safety on the first play, but I mean, you just felt within the first 5 or 10 minutes, some of the plays they made, what happened in the Denver game, the safety cams hit, things like that, where Denver was just like, man, what's going on here? And I felt that with that game, with the 2 Witherspoon, the third downs, the first play where Drake May's running the first one where he's running for his life, the second one where he gets sacked. I felt like there were some plays like that you could just sort of tell that New England knew they were in for it that day.
Was there a moment at all, and let's take away the obvious game here, okay? And the obvious game being the Thursday night game at the end of the season, which they win in overtime over the Rams, was for you, as you look back on how this season developed, was there a game that now stands out to you that you thought, okay, that's kind of when I thought they were a championship caliber team, that they had the opportunity and to put themselves in a position to win this whole thing?
Well, I mean, the 2 games that impressed me the most, the only 2 times this year when I thought there was any real concern about this team were when they went to Pittsburgh in week 2 and when they went to Jacksonville in week, I guess it was 6, after they had lost to Tampa Bay at home. After the San Francisco game, it was easy to go back and read what everybody was kind of writing at the time, which I think was like, well, it might be another year for the Seahawks. They're 0-1, the 49ers, and the Rams look good. The 49ers just beat them at home. They're going to be chasing this loss all year. And then, going to Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh had Aaron Rodgers and it's going to be DK Metcalf's first game. Man, this is really going to be tough. And, the way they went in there and they kind of just, their defense really held sway from the start in that game, and to win it the way they did, really pulling away in the fourth quarter. The Ken Walker third down run for the touchdown that they had in that game, just really beating what,
the Steelers weren't a great team this year, but winning a game like that on the road. And then the Jacksonville game, they were kind of banged up going to Jacksonville after they had lost that Tampa Bay game. They were kind of beat up in the secondary. Shaquille Griffin, his kind of one shining moment this year was he had to start and play that entire game at Jacksonville. And Jacksonville was coming off the game over in Kansas City. So that was one where you kind of thought, well, if they lose this and they fall to 3-3 or whatever. And then they went in there and same thing. Their defense just dominated that game. And, they made a couple of really big plays on offense. But I just thought those were two games I thought, well, if there's any worry about how this team's going to respond to things, are they really good? Can Mike McDonald figure things out like from week to week, especially I think from the Tampa Bay to the Jacksonville game? He talked a lot about that later, about feeling like he had kind of put in too much and things like that for the Tampa Bay game for what the team is, because they had some injury issues could handle and all of that. And, so you decide the way they responded in each of those situations to road games and long trips, and then backing up. I always that October stretch when everybody in Seattle was paying attention to the Mariners for the rightful reasons, but Jacksonville, and then coming back the next week and beating Houston the way they did, and Houston having a really, being a great defense this year and just jumping on them from the start. And I just after that Houston game was when I really thought this was going to be a really good team.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I didn't think about the Pittsburgh game actually until you brought it up in Jacksonville. But you're right, coming off 2 losses, easily could have been, teams go back east, you play early, easily could have been 0-2 after the first 2 weeks. And then the Tampa Bay game was just a bad game, to all your points that you brought up. And Jacksonville was playing good, and they ended up being a good team this year. Yeah, when they did Jacksonville and Houston, then I think, and I know these teams weren't good at the time, I get it, but I thought the fashion and how they beat Washington and Arizona, and because you just don't see that a lot in the NFL, where you really just pants a team in this league, and they did that, and it just went on to a great run. And then obviously at the end of the year, we talked about it because it was the obvious, but how they finished: Rams, Carolina, San Francisco. I think if anyone had any doubt of like really how good they were, because I do still think at that moment in the Thursday night game, there still was some, I know they're good, but like how good are they? And how they finished that 3-game stretch, I think, then finally, I think put to rest if anyone had any fears about what they were. The game itself, anything surprise you about the game? I mean, you said in the beginning, this is kind of how I thought it played out. I loved what they did with Witherspoon. Seems like they showed him something, Bob, that maybe they hadn't seen all year long, and unleashed him. And I know Ken Walker had a great game, but I'll echo what many other people said. I thought Devin Witherspoon was the best player on the field, and I thought he should have been the MVP because what the defense did. But boy, it was fun to watch him, get after it and do something that they really hadn't done with him all year long.
Yeah. Well, I had a MVP vote, and I wrote in the paper the next day, but I voted for Witherspoon as my MVP. So, I thought you could go a number of different ways, but Ken Walker had a great game, but I just thought that was a game of defense. It was the defense that won that game for the Seahawks. And I thought you've got to pick a defensive player. And I think they don't really release the vote total. So I don't really know exactly what the breakdown was. And if there was some split there, you obviously, as I did right the next day, there was a moment where you maybe could have voted for Derek Hall. I think you could have considered Byron Murphy a little bit too, for just some of the things he did. But I thought Devin Witherspoon again, and to me, part of it was remembering Cam Chancellor, who, I think we all think should have been the MVP in 2013. Right. If you went back and just what were the most impactful plays in that game, the games where you knew the Seahawks were winning this game, I thought it was the 2 Witherspoon plays early, and then the one the play made late, which completely sealed the game, obviously, and is kind of the signature play of the game. And so I thought Devin Witherspoon deserved it for those reasons. And yeah, he was who I voted for. So, but Ken Walker's the more, deserving winner. And it's probably going to cost the Seahawks a little bit more money now to try to keep it because of those votes, but they might feel like they have to now, given all of that. There's history of Super Bowl MVPs, I think, leaving the next year in free agency, but it doesn't happen often, I don't think. So they probably want to try to keep him around. But I would agree with the points you made there on the defense. And just again, I just thought it was that I thought the defense sort of deserved the honor because I thought they were the best part of Seattle's team all year. The number one reason why they got there, the number one reason why they won that game.
You just brought him up, so let's go there. And then and Walker's not the only one. Kobe Bryant's going to be a big one too as well. But how costly do you think this gets for Seattle with Ken Walker now?
Yeah, it'll certainly get some. It goes back to everything. Running backs are just such a weird thing, free agency in the NFL. You never know for sure what the running back market's going to look like, who's going to be available once it actually gets to that time. That's always one of the tough things to read. But running back in particular, because teams don't usually pay for more than one. You usually pay one running back. Same way with quarterbacks, but you don't. So it's not like some positions where multiple teams can go out. Teams might want two defensive linemen, or they can set their budgets a certain way. But if you have a good running back, you're probably not going after it. So the markets can be limited sometimes, and then just again the overall value of how people perceive running backs. So it won't surprise me if this is one that hits free agency. It gets to March 9th, and there's some uncertainty on what's going on with Walker, but then they're still able to retain him. That was basically what happened with Chris Carson when they did re-sign him. It was probably the last time they kind of had a situation. And it's obvious it's different. Chris Carson wasn't a Super Bowl MVP, but kind of the last time they had that. And they did, he got some other offers, but then ended up re-signing with Seattle. So that could be here where he does want to dip his toe into it, really hear what teams have to say, assess exactly what the market is at that time. After the combine, after teams have assessed, like, am I going to pay a bunch of money for Ken Walker, or can I just get a guy at 25th in the draft for far cheaper, which has, been the preferred method of a lot of teams that want to do it. So I think this one might be one that kind of plays out a little bit.
Okay. So what about and you can take them in order. What's the next priority? I think we all assume Reek Willen's gone, but I guess I don't want to assume that. I don't know how they internally think about him, but is Kobe Bryant, I would assume, the next on the list for them? I mean, there were reports. I don't know I think you wrote about it, and there were reports early in the season. They tried to get something done with him. It didn't seem like it happened, and there was no movement, obviously. But is it Bryant, and then maybe take a look at Reek Willen, or not looking at Reek Willen at all, you think?
Yeah, I don't know about Kobe Bryant. The one thing I think there is, I think the emergence of Ty Okada this year can convince them a little bit that maybe they can, instead of having to pay a ton of money for a safety, that, as Josh Snyder always talks about, you've got to look a couple years ahead with all this stuff too.
Right.
They're going to have to pay Devin Witherspoon probably this year a lot of money. They're going to have to pay Jackson Smith-Njigba a lot of money. But when it comes to, if we're just talking the secondary, they've got Josh Jobe. I think they probably want to keep him because I think he won't break the bank. So you keep him probably instead of Reek Willen. But when it comes to safety, I don't know how they use Nick Mori. I don't know exactly how that impacts when they look at how they're paying for things, if they kind of consider him as someone who could be a safety down the road, like a true safety down the road, like Kobe Bryant is, or if they just kind of consider him his own entity. But, you've got some things like that come into play there. So I think Kobe Bryant's another one who I would guess hits the market. I think if you're him, given the season you're coming off, you just won the Super Bowl. You were a key player on a team that won the Super Bowl. You go ahead and hit it and see. And it can kind of be like the Byron Maxwell thing, right? I think everybody looks back now at Byron Maxwell's contract that he got from the Eagles is probably one of the worst deals, as up there anyway, for bad deals that teams gave. But Byron Maxwell was a huge name at the time because he was the key player on a team that had just won the Super Bowl and all of that. If you're Kobe Bryant's agent, you're probably telling him, you're hot as you can. Same with Ken Walker. You're hot as you can be right now. You owe it to yourself to really see what else is out there. So that could be one of those where maybe if it bounces back and he doesn't get the kind of offers he thinks he might, then maybe it makes it more amenable for the Seahawks to be able to re-sign him. But I do think they're going to have to look. There are some spots where I think they're going to have to look a little more economically, because you really are going to want to make sure you have the wherewithal to keep the real big superstars,
right,
like JSN and Witherspoon. And then Darnold next year, you're going to have to do something with him probably.
Sure.
Really redo that deal. So I think if
because
they kind of go out the model, you just can't pay everybody at the top of the market.
Because JSN and Witherspoon will both be eligible for the extension, right?
Yeah. Everybody from the class of 23 is now eligible for an extension. everybody from 22 obviously already was. So you saw him redo Cross and Lucas, and yeah, they made a run at trying to redo Kobe Bryant. But yeah, any rookie from the class of 23, you can now extend. So you can, because those guys are first round picks. You could do you could exercise a 5th-year option on them. Yeah. They did that last year with Charles Cross and then re-signed him to a deal. You could do that of just, so you exercise the option as sort of a placeholder. So, he knows he's going to get that much money no matter what. And in that year, so it can ease some tension that way. But I don't know if I think JSN and Witherspoon might be kind of separate deals where they're at such the top of the thing right now. I don't know if I don't know how much that'll fly necessarily with them. I mean, we'll see, but I think they might be situations you're going to want to work out something else to kind of assure their futures and not have it be kind of dangling. That's what happens, right? When you win Super Bowls. Yeah. I mean, if you call, that was I know everybody talks about the reason they never won another Super Bowl was because of the play at the 1 yard line. But the other thing that happened was there was a lot of contract situations, some of which got kind of complicated and created feelings in the locker room. And got, some guys got paid and other guys didn't as much as they wanted to get paid. And that's what starts to happen now. And so they are going to have to think about that a little bit.
You wrote about in the paper today, and just let people know, today is a very key contractual day for several members of this team. That includes Darnold, it includes Kupp, Abe Lucas, Dixon, Lawrence, Reed, and Ernest Jones.
Yeah, and for a lot of the guys, I mean, it's not necessarily huge news going to come out of any of this, probably, but it is just
getting paid today a good amount.
The way it works. Yeah, the Seahawks like to the Seahawks don't guarantee a second any years in their contract beyond the first year, essentially. So what they do in lieu of that is they generally place dates in the contracts early in the following year where the money for that following season becomes guaranteed. And so it's kind of a way of the Seahawks to work around. It's kind of complicated, but to work around the escrow funding rules that the NFL has. But they do it early so that the players know, I'm getting my money for next year kind of thing. I don't have to wait till May to know I'm getting my money, when other guys with other teams are getting the contracts and they're getting that money guaranteed at the time they sign the contract. For most of them, this is probably not even anything they're thinking about. The one guy I wrote about in there, and not so much about anything would happen today or anything, but just Cooper Kupp's contract is obviously, I think, one worth looking at a little bit, just because it does really go up in both salary and cap hit this year and next year, and there's no guaranteed money. That's why the clause is in there for beyond. Today is the first time there would be more guaranteed money in it beyond what he got at the time he signed. So his numbers were down this year. You can talk about the reasons why, but the reality is his stats were all down this year from his career averages, and he's going to be 33 next season. So, I don't know if that's it may be the team's like, this isn't a question at all, we're going to keep him, but he would be the one guy, if you just looked at it on paper, to think about at some point this year if they do something with that contract.
Hey, Bob, is he given any indication at all if he wants to walk away?
I haven't heard that. He didn't indicate that. I sort of took the way that he approached this season as proving that he wanted to keep playing after last year. I think it's kind of came out in the Michael Silver story. That was sort of what it sounded like. Some people from the Rams were telling him to do was hey, just call it a good career right now and walk out, on top kind of thing. But I haven't heard that at all. But who knows? Sometimes if you get away from it a little bit and what more is there to accomplish at this point when I've just won a second Super Bowl ring and all that. So, but every indication I sort of got from him this year was that he was still enjoying playing.
I would assume because they gave up a 4th and 5th round pick, they will do whatever. They will be aggressive to bring back Shaheed. I mean, he obviously made a huge impact in special teams. As a wide receiver, probably not as big as an impact that I think a lot of people thought he was going to do. I mean, and maybe that was just working with a new quarterback and they didn't have, training camp. I think it was like 15 catches for $188. He didn't score any touchdowns, and they had near misses. I mean, he had a great play in the championship game for sure. But I would assume with what they gave up that it's a priority in the offseason to bring him back.
Yeah, I would think so. That becomes another one where it's just if some team really blows them out of the water with an offer they don't want to match. That can always be the thing. And you can want to do something, but then it just doesn't make sense to do. Under Josh Snyder, the Seahawks have always been pretty disciplined about if they set a value on a guy and he's going to get way above that, they don't try to match. They don't necessarily get in bargaining things like that. So we'll see. I was reading the free agent breakdown of Rashid the other day, just talking about kind of what a strange case he is if you look at it, because of what you say. He was so incredibly impactful in the return game. His Seahawks receiving stats don't look like much of anything. There can be the question of his age a little bit and the injury and stuff like that. Like if you're another team looking at what are we getting, and are we just kind of getting a third or fourth receiver and a really good returner? How much is that worth? And are we paying, receiver 1 or receiver 2 money, which is probably what Rashid Shaheed wants. So that might be another one where it comes down to it maybe hits that first week of March anyway, and they get a sense of, which is only a couple weeks away now anyway, but where it hits that, you hits that time and you sort of see each side sees what the market is there, and you get a sense of that at the combine. That's really become one of the biggest values of the combine that people don't realize. Everybody just kind of watches the 40 times and whatever, but I know Josh Snyder would tell you it's a time when they go there, they really talk to a lot of the agents. That's when they really get a sense, both from looking at what's going to be available in the draft, what's available in free agency, what is the market for guys, what do we want to pay guys. And that was really a key time last year with, as we kind of found out later in the DK Metcalf and Geno Smith things, where both sides, the agents for both and the teams and stuff like that kind of realized, well, this is kind of what the market is. This is what maybe you could get. Maybe this is what other teams, if there's no good receivers out there, maybe suddenly, trading for a veteran receiver makes more sense, that sort of thing. That's what can kind of happen at the combine. So I think we'll get a better sense of that. I do know, and I'm blanking on who it was, but one of the national guys over the weekend sort of posited it might be harder for the Seahawks to resign Shaheed than they thought, because he might have kind of a market for him. And, I know he said what he said about wanting to stay, but he was only here a couple months. So, it could be pretty easy to once you get away from it, like, hey, team, this other team's offering 4 years and, whatever. They could kind of be like, yeah, Seattle was fun, but I sort of owe it to my family to take that. So, we'll see.
Well, the obvious team is the Raiders. I mean, it's just where his offensive coordinator went with the Saints connection. But then I just think, if I know Al Davis isn't around anymore, but what did Al Davis love more than anything? A wide receiver that could blow it off the top. And, and he fits that. And I could just see them wanting to make a splash, in free agency a little bit. And it gives whoever they take, assuming it's Mendoza, maybe they go with Geno Smith, that target deep downfield. Well, and I know there's no offseason for you. You got the combine, you're going to be there, then it's the draft, and it's just before you know it, the season is back around the corner. I hope you get some time off and find a vacation and find a beach somewhere with a cold beer and a bucket. But you look ahead, Bob, and I would say we'll wrap it up, come full circle. To me, I guess this is a comment, then I'm going to ask you a question. This team feels like different from the last team that won a Super Bowl in terms of their window, and it seems like their window to win more, if they can, seems more open to me than that one, because you touched on something earlier, and you're right. Contracts can change how people feel on this current team. It felt that team in 13, great team, great personalities, but it ran hot. It ran real hot. And you knew when it kind of ended, it was going to end kind of in the fashion that it ended. I don't get that sense of this team a little bit. Seems a little bit more together than maybe that team. But again, contracts can change all that. But their window seems pretty good with what they're paying the quarterback and kind of the money they have and kind of the young players that they have. But I guess I would ask you, could you envision this window here in the next few years that they're back there again, winning it, and the odds of that happening for this squad?
Yeah, I definitely think they can. If they wanted, they have most of the guys under contractual control for next year for sure, right? And some of the things I've been talking about don't necessarily affect next year, like with JSN and Witherspoon. That's more of a long-term thing. Obviously, they're going to be on the team next year. So for next year, you've got almost everybody under contract, other than the couple of guys we talked about, Walker and Woolen and Job and Kobe Bryant, basically. So yeah, there's no reason at all why they can't be that. I think having Mike McDonald as your coach right now, I mean, a 38-year-old coach who seems at the cutting edge of everything, I think that's a real big advantage this team has as well. And Pete Carroll sort of had his style, and then when that kind of evaporated a little bit after a few years, I think he had a little bit of a harder time adjusting to that. Maybe I think Mike McDonald, I think having him again at the age he is and where he is in his career, there's no reason to think that he's not just going to keep fielding really competitive defenses every single year that he's the head coach of the Seahawks. And then you talk about the team thing, and there's an obvious point. I hate to always bash on Russell Wilson or whatever, but a lot of people have pointed out you didn't have defensive players wearing a T-shirt with Russell Wilson's face on it, at the team parade in 2014, and you didn't have Devin Witherspoon waving around a newspaper that had the quarterback's face on it, saying that's my guy, in far more colorfully language than I just did. But I think a lot of the whole fact that everybody really likes each other on this team is pretty genuine. In 13, 14, I do think that team was pretty close in general. I think it was the next year or two, not just the Super Bowl loss, but some other things, began to splinter that a little bit. I think this team has a little bit more of an ability to just to keep that together. The 13 team, again, everybody loved it at the time, but the whole everybody had a chip on their shoulder thing, that was part of what I think ended up driving it away a little bit too, because that doesn't go away. Even if you just win a Super Bowl, you don't stop necessarily having that feeling of everybody was against me kind of thing. This team seems to doesn't seem quite as motivated by like the doubters kind of thing. And I think that's a part that I think can maybe keep it together a little bit. You have a lot of guys who, Leonard Williams and Julian Love and it's guys like that who don't necessarily, I don't feel like have that same kind of, that's not their motivation. They're just really motivated to just win and do what it takes to win kind of thing. Not that those other guys weren't motivated to win and all that, but I just think that maybe the internal mechanism that they have is just a little bit different, and maybe this, as you say, can be a little more long, maybe last a little longer.
I hate how this comes out. I just think this team has a different maturity level than that team to weather what's about to come at them. That's how I look at them, and it's not to take away anything away from 13. That was an unbelievable team, and honestly, they should have won a second one. They were right there, and whatever, and then maybe that changes everything.
I mean, I would defend that team. I would defend the 13 team, but I mean, they did get back to the Super Bowl the next year, and they had some things that didn't go right. I mean, it's easy to forget. They got pretty banged up in 14. Guys got Brandon Meebane got hurt. I remember that Kansas City game. He got hurt, and people were like, "Man, this is just going to kill their run defense," because he was a really good player. And they had to trade Percy Harvin midway through. I mean, that's why they ended up in that game having Chris Matthews and Ricardo Lockett being two of your top receivers. I mean, there were some just practical things that happened to that team and began to happen over the next few years that inevitably will happen to this team too. There's going to be personnel changes and things like that. Sure. So, those guys, that 13, 14, 15 team, I mean, they were the best defense in the league for 4 straight years. I mean, in 2015, they kind of rallied from a tough start to that with the Cam Chancellor holdout and things like that to, again, allow the fewest points in the NFL. So I would defend that team a little bit from that standpoint, but I would just say that the aspect of key personalities and, as was well documented, there was some fraying of some relationships with some of those guys. This team does feel a little bit different from that standpoint for sure.
You're the best. Thanks for doing it every single week. I know we'll catch up on some key dates there in the off season, but it's been fun having you on every week. I know the audience loves hearing from you. Go get yourself a subscription to the Seattle Times. Go support local journalism, please, please, please. They do such great work over there. Everyone that's been covering the NFL beat. We're going to transition to Mariners coverage here. Those guys are down there in spring training. They do a great job. But again, it's just real critical to support your local newspaper. And please do so at seattletimes.com. Bob, always appreciate it. Thank you for doing it. We'll catch up real soon.
Yeah. Thanks for having me this year. Yeah, it was fun.
Again, big thanks to Bob Condotta for joining us, as always, on Friday for the last word. He just does incredible work. He works extremely hard. And I know it's a fun job what he does. He gets to cover sports, all right? He's not digging ditches and all that. But he works hard. It's a grind in the NFL. He just got done covering a Super Bowl run. And Bob gets about 10 days off before he's got to go board a plane, jump to Indianapolis. That's where they're doing the combine. They're still doing it there. I can't even remember. Jumps to go cover the combine, and then it's the NFL draft, and then it's minicamp. I mean, it really does not slow down for these guys. And it's just not Bob, it's everyone that covers the team. So really happy that Bob did it this year. We're going to do it hopefully again next year, and we'll catch up with Bob during the off season, after the combine, leading up to the draft, after the draft, getting ready for camps and all that kind of stuff. Because as you know, the NFL does not sleep at all, even though with baseball starting right around the corner. And, Bob's going to be covering a little bit of baseball probably this year as well. Just another reminder, I'll just say it one more time. We'll be off all of next week. So no shows next week. It's midwinter break. We're taking a break as well, recharge the batteries and all that. So we'll see you. When's the next week? Well, just in 2 weeks, we'll see you. I'm bad with dates. Before we go, we got Hey, What the Puck. Also, we've got On This Day. And On This Day is brought to you by Hive Social. Stop the doom scrolling, folks, and get to Hive Social, the official social meetup app of PuckSports. You can download Hive Social today on iOS and Google Play. It is free. It's Hive Social, HYV Social. Invite your friends, invite your coworkers, Seahawks fans, Mariner fans. Where are you going to be on opening day? Or where are you going to be at spring training next week? Hive Social is a perfect spot to find out where everyone's going to be at. Organize events. It's Snapchat meets LinkedIn for adults. No subscriptions, no algorithms, no commercials, nothing. Hive Social. I'm on there, PuckSports. Just search on Hive Social, HYV Social. All right, on this day, February 13th, let's get some happy birthdays out on this day. Some legendary coaches celebrating a birthday on this day. One still with us, one unfortunately not. Eddie Robinson. If you don't know Eddie Robinson, do some homework. Legendary college football coach, Grambling State. He was born in Jackson, Louisiana. He passed away back in 2007. Would have been 107 today. He coached Grambling from 1941, the football team, to 1997. But I didn't know this till today. He also coached the basketball team for 13 years, 1943 to 1956. Overall record as a football coach, and just considered one of the best people ever. 408 wins, 165 losses, and 15 ties. Also celebrating a birthday today, perhaps the greatest basketball coach of all time, Mike Krzyzewski, Duke head coach, 5-time NCAA champion. He's 79 today. 15 ACC tournament championships, 13 ACC regular season titles. Happy birthday there to Coach K. Also, and last but not least, happy birthday to one of the best wide receivers ever in the history of the National Football League. Randy Moss is 49 today, 6-time Pro Bowler and a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is On This Day, brought to you by Hive Social. That's HYV Social. Download the PuckSports official social meetup app from iOS and Google Play today. All right, we get to Hey, What the Puck. As I mentioned yesterday, it's still the same company, Restoration One. They've just rebranded. They've consolidated their name to bring everything in-house, but they still do their restoration as well. It's all brought to you by Tursuli Construction. When disaster hits your home or business, you want a local contractor to trust, and Tursuli Construction is Seattle's restoration and construction expert, specializing in water damage, fire, mold, and insurance claim repairs. But they don't stop there. Every solution, one contractor, from emergency response to full-scale rebuilds and remodels. Tursuli Construction, a full-service contractor handling your project from start to finish. Locally owned and operated out of Ballard. Shout out, Ballard. And by the way, Ballard, I'm wearing a baseball sweatshirt and the Ballard hat. Shout out to the Ballard gymnastics team tomorrow. District championships. They look to repeat as district championships coming up tomorrow. State championships next week. Go Ballard. Proudly serving the Puget Sound area and region is Tursuli Construction for over 15 years. So if you're dealing with damage or planning what's next, call the team. that does it all. Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give them a call, 206-793-3744, or visit them at tersuli.com. All right. You know what? We're going to have a little fun with this. I had fun with this. I even responded on social media with them. Dear Lord. So the go-to guy wrote an article about Ernest Jones that he shouldn't have used vulgar language. So what? That's not the problem with the whole thing. It's not the problem that you disagree with them. The problem is the reaction from some of you that with all these like name calling and hateful response to him or anyone else that disagrees with somebody else's opinion. He didn't like it. And you know what? He's probably not the only Seahawks fan that didn't like what Ernest Jones said. Okay? And maybe didn't like what Cal Raleigh said. And that's okay. Some people just don't like it. And that's fine. Do I wish he didn't say it? Yeah, probably. Does it offend me all that much? Not really. But, I look past it. But, yeah, you cringe a little bit with the multiple F-bombs and the flipping off and all that. But, okay, fine. That's his opinion. You can disagree with it, but I think we can stop with, like, you're an idiot and a moron, and I hope you die. I mean, that's some of the stuff that he received. It's just, and again, he's going to hear this, see this, and go, stop talking about, I don't care. And he really doesn't care. I mean, that's the whole point of it. And you shouldn't as a columnist because it kind of comes with the territory. Have we gotten too casual in these settings of using vulgar language? Yeah, it's obvious. Yes, we have. I mean, I don't remember this when I was a kid growing up watching these parade celebrations back in the day. They weren't like this. It wasn't F-bomb after F-bomb. It wasn't guzzling tequila. But and I don't know who it was, but some team started it, and then it's every year the next team that wins a championship tries to top that team with the language and how much we can drink. And I can't remember who started it, but somebody did. Okay. Do I like, as I get older, watching all these guys roll around getting super hammered and slurring all over the place? I get a little bit of an issue with it, but it's not that bad. Again, nothing where I'm going to get all upset about. But because whatever, it's in front of my kids. Again, I can explain to my kids later about, hey, just kind of carry yourself a little bit differently. But whatever. At the end of the day, it's my job, your job to parent your own kids. Say this to defend them. These guys and anybody in any sport, but we just use the Seahawks in football. They have been going at it for about 7 months. And I mean hard. Every single day. Front office personnel, coaches, players. It is an everyday grind, especially with these athletes. And again, they do treat their bodies like temples. It's different than back in the day. They have routines. It's regimented. It's sleep. They are every second of their lives is freaking calculated. It just is. And then they're trying at the same time to do that and then have a life, have a family. They had one day where they wanted to let it all out and blow some steam and cut it loose. And I get it. For that, they get a pass. They get a pass from me. They get a pass from everyone. Because it's a release for them after, going hard for 7 months. That's how I see it. All right, that's Hey What the Puck. Again, brought to you by Tersuli Construction. Again, if you're dealing with damage and planning what's next, call the team that does it all. Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give them a call, 206-793-3744, 206-793-3744, tersuli.com. This was Restoration One before. They've brought everything back in-house. They had two companies. It's the same company, but rebranded under their original and bigger name, I guess is the best way to put it. And I probably butchered that. All right. Thanks for everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to all our sponsors. Boy, so many to thank. Limbeck Lumber, Flat Stick Pub, Georgetown Brewery. Check out the new Tavern Beer, Hive Social, Tersuli Construction. Today's Daily Puck Drop. Find it up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Hit that like button. It all helps. Please. You can also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, does not matter. And, of course, everything at PuckSports.com. When you're there, sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse, $5 a month. You support all the free content we do. In addition, we give you bonus shows every single week. Our baseball coverage with Ryan Divich, Inside Pitch out on Wednesdays. The Sports Pit with Stretch on Tuesdays. KJ Arntz with Mitch on Thursdays. And Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast released every single Monday. Again, taking next week off. Recharge the batteries. Midwinter break. Usually don't like midwinter breaks. I think it's kind of weird. They just had winter break and then spring break's coming up, but I kind of like this midwinter break. We're going hard for a long time. So take a little break. We'll come back, and then in a couple weeks we'll get kind of switch gears a little bit to baseball. Get ready for spring training. So thank you for all the coverage. We'll miss you next week. Okay, but when we talk to you again, as always, let me hear it. We promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese.